Professional persons in healthcare delivery fields have legal and ethical responsibilities to safeguard the confidentiality of information regarding the clients in their care. If the confidentiality of this information is not protected, trust in the physician patient relationship would diminish, and it would bring up ethical and legal issues.
This is the story of 42-year-old engineer John Nicholas and his close encounter with breached patient confidentiality. John Nicholas had been a regular patient of Dr. Michelle Lewis for 3 years, during which he practiced good oral hygiene regularly, along with faithfully showing up for checkups every 6 months. He began to experience some personal struggles when a relationship that he had invested a lot into abruptly came to an end, which was very devastating for him. During this time, he did not pay much attention to his oral health or anything else for that matter. Eventually, his life turned around when he met his wife, Connie. She had 2 children from a previous marriage, a boy 14 years old and a girl 16 years old, whom he loved and cared for as his own. Her first husband was an alcoholic, and after years of trying to make the marriage work, she eventually divorced him and found Nicholas. They got married, and Nicholas was devoted to his wife and cared deeply for the 2 teenagers whom he formerly adopted. John's happiness was restored, and his life gained new meaning with his new family.
During a recent dental visit with Dr. Lewis, he informed her that he would be transferring to another city and would need his dental records transferred to his new dentist. Dr. Lewis was happy to cooperate in the process, and Nicholas proceeded to have a routine examination with one exception. Dentists are often the first healthcare professionals to see signs of HIV and AIDS because some of the earliest manifestations of the disease can occur in the oral cavity. Dr. Lewis asked Nicholas to step into her office for a moment, and she closed the door.
Well, Nicholas, I'm really happy to see you again. It's been a couple years.
I know, right?
But at least you're here,
Yeah,
and we're
yeah,
taking
yeah.
a look at your mouth, which
Exactly.
is good. We're taking care of your oral health.
I know, I have a few cavities, right?
Yeah, you have a couple.
Oh,
to say
buzzard
the
teeth.
least. But yes, buzzard teeth
Oh,
is right.
wow. Okay.
So I noticed a little lesion in your mouth that's a little bit concerning, and typically your immune system is able to fight off these lesions before they present themselves. But in your case, we see them, so I would suggest that you get some testing done because it could be an indication that you have some immunosuppressant issues.
Like what?
Unfortunately, this is really characteristic of HIV. I don't want to say for certain because I'm not your doctor and I don't want to scare you, but you should for sure take proper protocol, go to your physician, and get testing done in order to get the proper treatment because it is treatable.
Nicholas confessed that during the years that he went off the wall, one of the stupid things he did was drugs. And not just snorting, but the hard stuff, IV stuff. He admitted that he was really low in his life, and someone offered him some drugs for relief, and then he got hooked. Every penny he had went to get drugs, and sharing needles was just a way to save money for more drugs. He lost touch with his family for nearly 2 years until one day his brother got into a car accident. One of his drug buddies heard it on the news in a liquor store and informed him that his brother, Steve Nicholas, had been in a terrible accident. He knew he had to call his family and be with his brother, so he went to the hospital where his parents welcomed him with open arms and helped him get into rehab and get back on his feet. But he had a good engineering degree and he was able to find a good job and begin the process of reclaiming his life. After getting clean, he met Connie and his life turned around.
I know my poor decisions have really come back to haunt me, but is there anything I can do to really make it better?
Well, to be honest, I would 100% go get tested because you want to take precautions because we don't know for sure that it is HIV, but if it is, you should know right away and take care of it.
Well, do you know my odds of having HIV?
Well, to be honest with you, this type of lesion is characteristic of HIV, so more than likely, yes, but I don't want to say with confidence.
Can I borrow your phone so I can call my physician and let him know? But before that, one thing, please, whatever you do, please don't let my kids know. I think Connie kind of knows what's going on, but I really don't want my kids to know what their dad has done in the past that I've had. But just try to keep that between me and you, please.
Of course, that won't be an issue. The only thing that we need to discuss is the fact that you're going to another dentist and you should share this information And if you do have HIV, make sure you take the proper medication.
Absolutely.
Because this is going to help with whatever treatments that they have to do in the office, and they should be well equipped to deal with you if you do have HIV, because it's part of protocol.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't mind letting people know who's taking care of me, what's going on, but I just don't want my kids to know.
No, absolutely, and I understand. I'm more than happy to help, and hopefully your next dentist will do the same for you.
All right, thank you, Doc.
Have a great day, and please keep me posted if anything changes, and if you want to come back and you move back, don't forget me.
All right.
Nicholas goes to his physician to get appropriate HIV testing. His HIV test is positive, and he began to receive appropriate treatment. He informs his wife fully about the situation, and she's steadfast in supporting him through this difficult time. Nicholas fared very well in treatment. Meanwhile, transferring to another city where he continued his treatment, received a promotion in his work, and cared lovingly for his family. His children knew he had some disease that required him to receive regular treatment, but its precise nature was described in terms that did not reveal the downside of his earlier life. Dr. Lewis had installed a computerized record-keeping system several months before Nicholas's last visit. Thanks to the computer system, all of the patient's records were still available at the touch of a few keys on the keyboard. Dr. Lewis's bill for Nicholas's last visit must have arrived at Nicholas's former address after he and his family had moved and then disappeared instead of being forwarded. In any case, it never reached them at their new home, and neither Nicholas nor his wife thought to inquire about its absence. The delay in payment triggered medical system computers to send the Nicholas file to the collections agency, and several days later a reminder letter was sent and a follow-up call was placed. The notation about John Nicholas's status as HIV positive should have been retracted from his record before it was forwarded to the collection agency, but it had not been. When the call was answered, the collection agency caller explained that John Nicholas had an overdue dental bill for Dr. Lewis for the visit in which his HIV status was diagnosed. Luckily, although Nicholas's daughter was at home at the time, it was his wife who answered the call.
The notation about John Nicholas's status as HIV positive should have been retracted from his record before it found its way to the collection agency, but it was not removed. When the call was answered, the collection agency caller explained that John Nicholas had an overdue dentist bill for Dr. Lewis for the visit in which John's HIV status was diagnosed. Luckily, although Nicholas's daughter was at home at the time, it was Nicholas's wife, Connie, who answered the call.
But I don't, I was on that stuff.
In case it's there.
What's Allegiant?
Are you serious?
Oh, I forgot.